All right, we're
maybe
live.
you. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we are live in the group. And just so you know, ladies, my little puppy wants to play with me, of course, right now. And so if you see me jerking, that's because I'm playing tug of war. Right now, he's good. Okay, he laid down by himself. All right, so happy Friday to all the fearless women in my group, and we'll just wait a few seconds and we'll give everybody a chance to jump on. I see some of you jumping on. This is awesome. How's everybody doing? I'm going to bring it up on my phone because in StreamYard I can't see who you are, but definitely interact with us in the comment box and say hey and let us know you're here. And we're going to get started here in just a second. So I bring this up. There we go. Okay, and when I click on it, there we go. In the group, and just so you know, hold on. To jump on. There we go. There's always a time delay. All right, so Beth Garrett's on, and Paula Bolin. Hi, ladies. And who else is in here? How are you? Happy Friday. It's Fridays. Everybody love Fridays. Actually, it doesn't matter to me. My days are all the same.
No. You forget what day it is today.
I know. It's like, well, no, who cares? So today I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Naveed, Joe, Hyder, and we've just been chatting here off camera a little bit about her. She's fascinating and she has a great story. So you will enjoy hearing from her. Let's see. While we're talking, please like comments in the comment box and interact with us. That makes it a lot more interesting. If you have questions or you have something you want to add or whatever, just throw it in there and let us know that we are not alone here today. So welcome, Naveed, to Facebook Live with me in our group here, Women Emerging Fearlessly. And I'm just really happy to have you and to meet you today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So Naveed was telling me she was born and raised in Pakistan and was living there when Kuwait was, you were in Kuwait.
I was in Kuwait.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us that story. That how long, well, we know when that was. What was that? What year was that?
1990.
Yeah. Okay. 90s. So tell us a little bit about that experience, because that's a real story of emerging fearlessly.
So I grew up in Pakistan, got married, moved to Kuwait, had my kids, set up my home with my heart and soul in it, decorated. You know how it is, like your first home, and you're like, oh, wow, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I was creative. So, I brought my creative side and like put it all together. Very exciting. 10 years later, 1990, the Iraq invaded Kuwait. And all of a sudden, like it was the 2nd of August, and all of a sudden we woke up and we're like, what's going on? There's army everywhere. What's going on? My husband used to work for the refinery. So we lived very close to the refinery, and the forces were coming towards the refinery.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, after the initial shock, we started, just going along with the flow and just making sure we're all safe, the kids are safe. And then we had to leave. We decided we wanted to leave the country because we didn't know where things were going to go. And I think about 20 days later, we left Kuwait. We moved in with a bunch of friends, and we were just supporting each other. What should we do? How can we help each other? Putting all our resources together so that we can be together and be safe. So we decided to leave.
I can't imagine that. I'm just sitting here trying to take this in. Like you're in your home, and then all of a sudden everything changes, and
everything changes,
and you've got to leave everything behind.
Yeah, matter of like one night, you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, and you're like, things are so different. What happened? And so we decided to leave.
There you go. Okay.
And so I packed, enough food, canned food, that to last us, because we didn't know what to expect.
Right.
The borders were closing and the borders were opening. The borders were closing. Every day we are listening to, oh, this border is open, that border is open. You can't go from here. So we just left. And then we were going from Iraq to Turkey, because shorter route would have been through Iran to Pakistan, but all those borders were closed. So we were going through Turkey, and it was so interesting how when we crossed the Iraqi border, so we finished customs and they said, yes, you can go, the Turkish border closed. So we were stuck in no man's land for 4 days.
Wow.
On the concrete, 55 degrees temperatures.
Oh, is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
It's Celsius.
Oh, so what would that be in Fahrenheit? Do you know? Is that?
I don't know.
Was it hot? It was hot.
It's hot. It's hotter than hot. You know, like right now in Toronto, it's like 30 degrees.
Okay.
And 55 is like you don't want to be seen. You don't even want to look outside the window. It's that hot.
Wow.
And we ran out of food. There were some very amazing experiences, like 3 days sitting on the concrete, like we had some comforters, whatever. We made do with whatever we had. And this guy was calling us from across the fence. And my husband is like, oh, this guy is calling me. Let me go and see. And I'm like, no, don't go, What if you get into trouble? And he's like, oh, don't worry. Let me just go. And this guy was actually calling us because his wife had made dinner for us.
Wow.
He's like, we've been watching you. You have 3 little kids. And you've been sitting here, and my wife is saying, I have to cook for them.
Wow.
So give us whatever you have, if you have any containers, so we can bring you this food.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't have a lot of container. Whatever we had, we gave it. And that meal that day, wow, it was like heavenly,
Oh my gosh. Like that.
Rice and meat curry and whatever it was. Oh, it was so delicious. It was.
Wow.
And exactly what I was saying to you earlier, people don't have problems with other people. We want to live in harmony. We want to live in a community.
Yes. Wow. Powerful.
Yeah.
People, the kindness and goodness of people really does come out sometimes in the worst of experiences, but
and honestly, we've been so blessed. We've been so blessed throughout. People were like helping us. Oh, you don't have Iraqi dinars, we'll give you the money. Don't worry. You can go stay with my brother. You can go stay with my sister.
Wow.
We were really, really blessed.
Yeah.
Really blessed.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. That's encouraging. For anybody going through a tough time, that there's always blessings everywhere if you just stop and look for them. Like we were talking about, living in the moment and really growing more from your trials and struggles than good times, right? We really see what our character is made of, and we get to see the character of other people.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So tell us what you're doing now. I know you moved to Pakistan for a while, and then now you're in Canada.
I moved to Pakistan. So the home that I had set up, I had to leave, and I gave the keys to my neighbors who were
tell this story.
locals. And I said, from today, this is your home. You can take whatever you want, I just took my jewelry, because we normally have gold jewelry. It's a traditional cultural thing. And my negatives for my kids' pictures, all their memories. These were the 2 things I took with me, and left everything else, and gave the keys to my neighbors and blessed my home. And I'm like, whoever comes here, please enjoy everything I've done in this house.
Oh, wow.
I cleaned. Took 2 hours to clean the house. And my husband is like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, whoever comes here, he's like, nobody's coming here tomorrow. Like,
Aw. Between men and women, I guess.
I guess.
Oh, so then what happened?
And we went to Pakistan, and it was 11 days on the road, like very limited money, and got home safe. Then we moved into an apartment, and I started making it into my home. I didn't want my kids to feel, like I would go get fabrics from a Sunday market, which was like a open market every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
People would have stalls, and I would bring fabrics and make drapes and do cushion covers and little things, so that it felt like a home. And believe it or not, people would come and say, "Oh my God, your home is so cozy," and I'm like, "I barely have anything."
Wow.
So all this while, my passion was bubbling on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I did not see it.
Wow.
Did not
just
see
there.
it.
It just showed up everywhere you went, right?
Everywhere. And people would say, "Oh, come, can you help me? Can you do this?" And another very funny story was that the rental apartment that we were living in Kuwait, as my family was growing bigger, the space was getting smaller, and I had this bright idea to knock down a wall and make the foyer bigger. I don't even own the place.
Wow.
My husband thought I'm crazy. And I convinced my landlord, and I'm like, "You know what? If I do this, it'll make the space flow better, and I'll close this door and open a doorway there." And he loved coming to our home, and because the way I had kept it.
Yeah, you fixed it up for him.
Yeah. So he's like, "Go ahead, this is your place, do whatever you want."
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, now knocking down a wall there is not that easy because it's cement block.
Oh.
It's not like drywall. So we got the contract. I asked him for the floor plan so I could see where the load-bearing wall is. Now remember, I have no training in this. How I knew all this, I don't know. So he's like, "Oh, you know what? It's very hard for me to get the floor plan. So you just go ahead and knock down the wall. If there's a load-bearing column, then you stop." I'm like, "Okay, maybe it's not here." I'm me being the positive person.
Oh, wow.
And lo and behold, it was there.
Oh,
halfway through the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, to cut the long story short, it ended up looking really amazing.
Ah, that's so
and cool. The owner was so happy that he decided to do that in all the other apartments.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow, so your gift was definitely showing up.
It was showing up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just having fun,"
Well, tell everybody what you do now, because they're probably wondering, what gift are we talking about? And Monica's on and Liz is on. Hi, ladies. Make sure you comment here in the comment box and let us know what you're thinking. And if you have any comments or questions for Naveed, please share. I mean, she just shared an awesome, amazing story of coming through a big, huge trial and tribulation in her life. I can't imagine that, but here she is, bright and cheery, and her life has completely changed. So I know a lot of the ladies in my group can definitely relate to that. But share what you're doing now with that gift and what you're all about, what you're doing in the world.
So what I'm doing now is, once I realized what my gift was, I also realized that I had the feeling I had inside when I was doing something creative and designing homes and redesigning spaces. I would be on seventh heaven, it's just priceless what you feel inside. And I'm sure all of you feel that way when you're in your moment and you're like, "Yes, this is me." Yes. So I was really scared to start on this journey and start my own company and like start designing homes for people because it was a new ground. I was scared, and like I was saying earlier, I'm an introvert,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay. But I had a friend who actually like would bug me every time she would meet me and say, why don't you do this, you're so good at it, remember that you did this for so and so, it was so nice, and remember this. And she would just drive me crazy, every time. And finally one day I called her up and I'm like, just to shut you up, I am going to start my business.
She was a good friend. She saw the gift
She's an
in you.
amazing friend.
She
And I
saw
still
that.
tell her that.
That's one way to know what your strengths are and gifts are, is what do people compliment you on? What do people tell you you're really good at? What do people come to you for advice and help with? That also you get in that zone, in that flow, like you just love doing it.
Yeah,
Those are clues right there.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think a lot of times women think, well, how can I make a living doing this? Or how can it's just a hobby or it's just something I like to do. What do I do with it? But it's amazing what you can do with it. You just have to think outside the box and you have to believe in yourself and go for it.
yeah. And I think as women also, when you talk about compliments, if somebody would compliment me on something and I'm like, oh no, this is wrong, and see, I didn't do this, and why can't I just simply take the compliment and say, yes, I did do a good job.
Yes, exactly. And that's part of the imposter syndrome, which I talk about a lot, is
Yeah,
we do things and we're successful, but we just kind of brush them away as, that was nothing.
yeah,
No, own it. You have
yeah.
a beautiful gift. So are you doing this for a living now?
I'm doing this for a living full time for the last 10 years.
Wow. And
I'm doing
so
this.
you're an
And
interior designer. I'm writing my husband a note right now. I'm not ignoring you. Whoops. But anyway, so yeah. So tell us all about that, what you're doing for a living.
so then after my friend pushed me into this, said, okay, the first step is to say, yes, I'm willing to do it. And honestly, once I decided that, things started, and I was in the corporate world at that time. And they were restructuring, and they're like, well, your job is being eliminated. Would you like a package? Would you like to move? And I'm like, God is telling me to just
Yeah.
take it and run with it.
There you go. There was your open door. And I think number one, you said yes. I heard that. And that's something I always tell women too, is like the first step is to just say yes to yourself. You don't have to know the path and all the steps yet, but just say yes. And then stuff happens, right?
Yes,
You
it
said
does.
yes. And then your job went away and there you go.
Yeah. And it was such a bittersweet moment for me. I would be my first thing was, oh my God, I'm so excited, I can do what I love to do.
Yay!
And then once I had to obviously give them my final answer in a few days, and every night I would sit in the backyard and just cry because it was too scary.
Yes. It is scary.
And I'm like, because I couldn't see the path, I couldn't see what was ahead. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I would keep bringing myself back to that moment, when I had all of a sudden overnight our life changed.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
couldn't see that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you made it through that.
Yes.
And if you could make it through that, you can definitely make it through anything, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another key. So saying yes to yourself and then noticing what happens, and even though it's scary and you don't know what's going to happen or where the path is going to lead you, it's trust, isn't it? Just trusting
You
yourself,
just,
trusting the process, trusting that the gift in you kind of makes room for you, and you'll learn along the way. I know that's what I had to do. I had to say yes and then
yeah.
just, I'll learn as I go. And I loved how you reflected back to that really tough time. I mean, a huge, huge trial you went through or struggle, and reminded yourself that, hey, I got through that and I didn't know where we were going. So I
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah. And I remember a few years later after that incident in 1990, people would, when they would hear, they're like, "Oh, poor you." And I'm like, "No, I think it was. I'm blessed to go through that experience." They're like, "Are you crazy?"
That's
You know,
awesome.
with and I'm like, "Yeah," because I one of the things I realized is that what was important to me,
Right.
those material things or the home that I had put together, so lovingly, that seemed meaningless at that point
Yeah.
because my family and my kids were more important at that
Yeah.
time.
What really
And I'm
matters.
like, as long as, and that's all I would pray for. I want my kids to be safe and
Mm,
reach home safely.
yeah. Yeah, that's one of the blessings and gifts in those difficult times is you see what's really important and what really
Mm,
matters in life. And it's never
mm,
things.
mm.
It's
Never
always
things.
it's always people. It's
Yeah,
always people. And it's always love,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Love is the only thing every human is after. That's the one thing,
absolutely. That's it.
whether they are being mean or whether they are being nice,
Yeah.
they're all after love.
Yeah. Wow, that's so powerful. Love it. So, well, you are lovely and just a beautiful soul with so much to give. And I'm so happy to have met you and have you in my group. And I would love for you to, share any time in the group, like some of the stuff you do, some of the creativity that you have, because I know that would inspire. I'm not good with decorating. I did have my husband, he helped me put up this behind me. So not a blank wall. Um, and I do my own thing, but when I see that gift like you have, and I go into homes, like my sister is really good at decorating, and she and her husband build houses, and I just like stand there like, wow, how do you even think of these things?
Yeah, it just comes naturally.
Yeah. Well, see,
So when I've,
that's the way our strengths and our calling, come, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So initially, when I started with decorating, and then I really love remodeling spaces. That is my, like, oh my God.
Well, apparently, if you're knocking down concrete walls in Kuwait, then
I have to love it.
I would never think of doing such a thing. But my husband's always talking about knocking down walls around here. I'm like,
Okay, tell him to contact me.
he's sitting right here. Oh, that's awesome, though. I mean, just you're bringing out so many great points that I know every woman really needs to hear. Your gift is in you. It's there naturally. It was probably there when you were young. It's that thing that you love to do, and it's the thing that people see in you. And so just trust it, right?
Yeah.
And go for it and say yes to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look back at my life, and I'm like, even when I was like 14, I remember my sister and I shared a bedroom. So I was always like putting things in the bookshelf and, hanging something on the wall, or maybe I should paint something on it. So I studied fine art so I could draw or paint. And I would do like weird things like that.
It seems it's not. I mean, it wasn't weird. It's creative. That's what
It's creative. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And creativity is an amazing gift we have been given
Yes.
in life. So we need to share it and follow it and let it come out. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, and also I think I have to manage it
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes there's, somebody's having a conversation. Oh, we are thinking of buying a house. And my creativity just is like, and I'm telling myself, okay, you're not going to say anything. Okay, not until. Because initially I would say whatever would come to my mind, and sometimes people did not like what I had said or what I. So I realized, okay, you only give ideas when people ask for it.
You, yes.
And then I'm sitting there like a little kid, being punished, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to, and then I'm like, oh, okay, would you mind if I give you some advice?
Yeah. As long as you ask permission, and then it's up to them to take it or not, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being on with me today. I've got to go look at this car my husband has for me to look at.
So I look forward to it. Sure, send us pictures. And
yes, if we buy it. But
Yes.
yeah, it's been great to have you on. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, I'm just really glad we got to meet you. So ladies, give her some love and share, when you're watching this video later or whatever, just share, what you got out of this with Naveed. And we will definitely hear from her some more. So have a really blessed day and blessed weekend. And thanks again for coming on with me.
Thank you. Thank you for making me fearless
Oh,
today.
yes. Yes, you were. Good job. This was your first live video ever? Or
It was the second, but the first one I don't even want to talk about.
well, the first one's always the worst. So you're going up from here. You did
Yes.
great.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye bye. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.